Digestive system, oral cavity. Main questions for final exam. Functions of digestive system. Main functions: breaking down food for absorption into the body, for energy production, for synthesis of substances necessary for the body. This process is including tasting of the food, its shaving, moistening and swallowing. It takes place in the oral cavity. Degradation of food by digestive enzymes, absorption of the products, and release of undigested remnants of food through anus. Digestive system consists of alimentary canal and big digestive glands located outside. Alimentary canal includes oral cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, and intestine. All of them are tubular organs. Big digestive glands includes big thyroid glands, liver, and pancreas. They are parenchymal organs. They are located outside alimentary canal but release their secret inside alimentary canal for the digestion of food. Digestive system consists of three parts. Anterior includes oral cavity, pharynx, and esophagus. Middle include stomach and intestine. And posterior, smallest, include anal part of rectum. Alimentary canal wall, as in all other tubular organs, consists of three membranes. The inner membrane called mucous membrane, middle called muscular membrane, and outer called serous membrane or adventitia. Every membrane consists of layers. This figure demonstrates the plan of a microscopic structure of the alimentary canal. You see here the schematic drawing of esophagus, which represent the anterior part of alimentary canal. Stomach, small intestine, and large intestine represent the organs of intermediate part. Three membrane: mucous membrane everywhere, muscle membrane, and adventitia or serous membrane. Mucous membrane consists of four layers: epithelial layer. In anterior and posterior parts, it represented by stratified squamous, mostly non-keratinized epithelium. In the middle part, it simple columnar epithelium. In the stomach, it's simple columnar secretory, because it's secrete mucus. In intestine, it's simple columnar absorptive, because it contains brush border microvilli for better absorption of products of digestion of food. Second layer, lamina propria, it's loose connective tissue. And usually some glands located there. Third layer is lamina muscularis. It's 2-3 layers of smooth muscle cells. Fourth layer, submucosa. It's a thick layer of loose connective tissue. In esophagus and duodenum, it contains glands. Muscular membrane consists of 2-3 layers of muscle. In anterior and posterior parts, it striated skeletal muscle, more voluntary, and in the middle part of the digestive system, alimentary tract, it consists of smooth muscle tissue, involuntary. Adventitia in anterior and posterior parts, and in abdomen cavity, in the middle part of the digestive system. The organs covered by serous membrane, visceral peritoneum. In submucosa, everywhere, in all organs, you can find the autonomic nerve ganglia of submucous nerve plexus of Meissner. Between muscle layers of muscle membrane are located the mesenteric nerve plexus and ganglia of Auerbach. In submucous, you can find also large blood vessels of submucous vascular plexus. The branches of these vessels feeding the mucous membrane. Everywhere, mostly in lamina propria, located, situated, the lymph nodes belong to the diffuse part of lymphoid tissue, or its mucous-associated lymphoid tissue. So, start with anterior part of the digestive system, with oral cavity. Its wall consists of bone or muscle, a lining by mucous membrane with stratified squamous epithelium, for exception of teeth, certainly. There are several organs inside oral cavity. Lips, cheeks, hard palate, soft palate, tongue, teeth, and gums. In the oral cavity, tasting of the food takes place. It's shaving moistening and swallowing, starts the degradation of food by amylase and start absorption of some food components. This is a picture of the oral cavity sagittal section. You see the lips, this skeletal muscle inside, hard palate with palatal bone inside, and soft palate with striated skeletal muscle in the basis. This is a tongue, and this striated skeletal muscle inside in the basis. And also lingual tonsil visible here, and also laryngeal tonsil near the larynx, and teeth and gums. Lips have the striated skeletal muscle in the middle and consist of three parts. Cutaneous part, represented by skin. Intermediate part, covered by stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium, quite thin. So it's lucid. And the reason why the color is red or bright pink, because the red blood in numerous blood vessels visible through the epithelium. The inner mucosal part, covered by mucous membrane, it's lamina propria, and stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium, but it's much thick. This is a tongue with longitudinal section. Striated skeletal muscle core is covered by mucous membrane with stratified squamous epithelium. On the surface is smooth dorsum by the papillae, extensions of mucous membrane. There are four types of tongue papillae: filiform, fungiform, foliate, and circumvallate papillae. They were large but flat. They're surrounded by volume, so it's circumvallate papillae, and around also the foldings of mucous membrane. Papillae are really the connective tissue core covered by epithelium. In epithelium, in these three types of papillae, there are taste buds. There are about 2,000 of them, and they altogether compose the organ of taste. These chemoreceptors, which indicate the chemical composition of food or drinks, and cessation of taste finally appeared in the brain cortex, in central part of taste analyzer. This is the upper surface of tongue and numerous papillae, particularly circumvallate papillae, here in one line. Here filiform and fungiform papillae. And in this figure you can see foliate papillae with taste buds. This is the structure of taste bud. Big salivary glands, pair of parotid, sublingual and submandibular. All of them are parenchymal organs, consist of stroma and parenchyma. Stroma represented by capsule and loose connective tissue septa, dividing organs for lobules, and they are visible here. The secret of these glands, saliva, release into the oral cavity. And parenchyma, represented by secretory epithelium, which compose compound tubulo-alveolar glands. This is a plan of structure of big salivary gland. Compound tubulo-alveolar glands consist of two parts: secretory portions, where secret produced, and ducts, where secret released into the oral cavity. There are three types of secretory portions. Serous consist of oxyphilic cells with round nuclei which produce watery secret and proteins, enzymes like amylase to digest carbohydrates. Mucous secretory portion produce mucus, the complex glycoproteins molecules with high viscosity. These cells filled in by mucous secret, which push the nuclei to the basal membrane. They became flat and on the section rod in shape, like sticks. And under microscope, in preparation stained by hematoxylin and eosine, this cell cytoplasm is very pale, not stained. And third type, mixed secretory portions, consist mostly of mucous secreting cells, but one pole of secretory portion occupied several serous cells, oxyphilic. They called serous semilunes. Parotid gland contain only serous secretory portions. Submandibular glands contain both serous and mixed secretory portions. And sublingual gland contain pure mucous secretory portion, mixed, and few serous. The ducts system consists of the smallest intercalated ducts lining by cuboidal or squamous epithelium. Their diameter much smaller than secretory portions. Then striated ducts, because in basal part they have striation, consist of folds of cytolemma, these mitochondria located regularly in these folds. It demonstrates the ability for transport of ions between blood and lumen, because the activities, the work of ion pumps require a lot of energy and increasing surface. And then intralobular duct, which collect the saliva from all secretory portions of the lobule. Then interlobular duct, which collect saliva from several lobules. And finally the main duct, which release secret from all lobules into the oral cavity. In addition, there are special cells with long processes which cover the secretory portions. It's myoepithelial cells which can contract and push the secret into the ducts. This is a microphotogram of parotid gland, contain only serous secretory portion, and here the striated duct visible. And this picture demonstrates the sublingual glands, which contain mostly mucous secretory portions and mixed with serous semilunes, with oxyphilic semi-lunes of serous cells. And there are only few serous secretory portions. And salivary glands carry out many functions. Secretory exocrine produce saliva together with small salivary glands. The mixture of secret of all salivary glands is saliva. All glands together produce about 1.5 liters of saliva per day. Endocrine function: big salivary glands produce insulin, paratine, growth nerve factors, factor of growth of epithelium. Excretory: they can excrete, release some waste products like uric acid, creatinine, iron, iodine. Protective: they produce lysozyme, enzymes which digest the bacterial wall. Lymphoepithelial throat ring of Pirogov-Waldeyer. It includes 5 types of tonsils. This palatine tonsil. Here is pharyngeal tonsil, for example. They're located between oral cavity and pharynx, so just at the entrance into the alimentary canal and airways. The structure of all tonsils quite similar. For example, here there is a picture of palatine tonsil. Here the mucous membrane make tubular folds called crypts. In lamina propria under epithelium, numerous lymphatic follicles are located. These light geminal centers inside. The B zones, they composed by B lymphocytes, and between T zones contain some T lymphocytes. So here is the antigen-dependent proliferation and differentiation of T and B lymphocytes take place. So lymphocytes here contact with antigens, cloning, proliferates, and converts to effector cells. And covering epithelium here infiltrated by lymphocytes, so it looks much darker as compared to normal epithelium. There is also the capsule around connective tissue layers, so it looks like parenchymal organ. Teeth. As you know, in adult there are 32 teeth, and quarter will be 8. 2 incisors, 1 canine, 2 premolars, and 3 molars. So 8 per 4, 32. Parts of tooth: crowns, neck, and root. And here only crowns visible. If you remove the soft tissues, you can see the necks, the undergums. If you remove some bone, jewelry bones, you can see the roots. Most of teeth has 1 root, but molars have 2 or 3 roots, which located in alveoles of maxilla or mandibula. So parts of tooth: crown, neck, and root. From histological point of view, tooth consist of dense and soft tissues. Dense: enamel, dentin, and cementum, cement, covering the root. And soft tissue represented by pulp, inside pulp cavity and canal, and periodontium or teeth ligament between root of tooth and alveolar bone. So to structure dense tissues: enamel, the hardest tissue of the body, contained 96% of minerals, consist of S-shape prisms connected by matrix. Every prism consists of parallel collagen fibrils with crystals of hydroxyapatite between. No cells available here. Dentine, like bone, contain about 70% of minerals, also mainly as crystals of hydroxyapatite. There is no cells in dentine, only processes of cells located in dentine canaliculi, in dentine tubules, going in parallel up to enamel. The bodies of dentinoblasts located in pulp on the border, near the border of dentine. They secrete some dentine components in adults also. Cementum covers the root of tooth. Cement contains 70% of minerals, consists of cellular cementum in the deeper part of root. It contains the cell's cementocytes. So the structure of cellular cementum like reticulofibrous bone, but there osteocytes. And uncellular cementum in upper parts contain no cells, only intercellular matrix. Soft tissues consist of tooth pulp and periodontum. Tooth pulp consists of 3 layers: peripheral, contain dentinoblasts and periodontin; intermediate, contain stem cells, precursors of dentinoblasts; and central part, loose connective tissue with blood vessels and nerves. Periodont, or tooth ligament, consists of dense regular connective tissue and collagen fibers going in parallel from cementum till alveolar bone, and they connected tooth and bone and fix the tooth in alveoli of bones, maxilla or mandibular, jugular bone. And gums cover the neck of tooth. They covered by stratified non-keratinized epithelium, squamous non-keratinized epithelium, which connected with enamel. Tooth development, enamel organ. The tooth rudiments appeared on the 2nd-3rd months of embryogenesis. From epicavity, the dental lamina developed, then tooth buds, which growing became bigger and bigger, and surrounding mesenchyme push this bud, and mesenchyme around produce the tooth enamel sac. So this enamel organ consists of 3 layers of cells: inner, outer, and intermediate. And it contains the neck. This is a precursor for every tooth. And from these precursors, all tissues of tooth developed. There are 3 main types of cells: ameloblasts or enameloblasts, which appeared from the inner layer of enamel organs. They will produce enamel. From the mesenchyme of dental papillae appear dentinoblasts, which produce dentin. From mesenchyme, the cementum appeared, pulp, and periodont. And these microphotograms demonstrate the tooth bud, enamel organ, and development of tissue. Enameloblasts, which produce enamel, and dentinoblasts, which produce dentin. And as a result, the rudiments of milk and permanent teeth appeared. And between 6 months and 2 years after delivery, the milky 20 young milky teeth appeared. Later, between 6 and 30 years, they are destroyed, placed for permanent teeth. Certainly, only 20 milky teeth are replaced by permanent. Molars, 12 molars, have no permanent teeth. The teeth consist of dense, very strong, dense tissues, but they quite sensitive to destruction. For example, enamel can be destroyed by acids, and the defects, if they appeared, cannot normally, naturally replaced by new enamel, because no cells here. In dentine, the defects may be very slow replaced by secondary dentin, which produced by dentinoblasts, and the same situation for cementum.
you.